Even 10-year-olds should be outraged that Donald Trump is trying to destroy Social Security right now, right in front of us. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, speak of the devil, as the old saying goes. This just, it was put up apparently a few hours ago, but I just saw it as I was, during the break. I poke around, see what's going on in the news, and this headline popped up. This is by Tommy Christopher, who used to be a regular on our show in D.C. At Mediaite.com. Tommy writes for Mediaite. And Joe Biden was being interviewed by Channel 6. This is in Florida, I believe in Tallahassee. Channel 6 News anchor Ginger Gadsden. And this is what he said. He said, you have a president of the United States that just introduced a proposal to wipe out Social Security. The head of the actuarial of the Department of Social Security said that if his plan for Social Security, Trump's, goes forward, the entire fund will be depleted by the middle of 2023. And then the article that Tommy Christopher wrote goes on to say, last week, Social Security Chief Actuary Stephen Goss. Now, this is just a guy, right, who runs the actuary department, the one that calculates how much money we've got and how long it's going to last, basically. Stephen Goss sent a letter to Congress saying that under Trump's plan, if there were no other changes to the current law, if they just did what Trump said, quote, the Social Security Trust Fund would become permanently depleted by the middle of calendar year 2023, and the Disability Fund would become permanently depleted in the middle of calendar year 2021, with no ability to pay disability benefits thereafter. That's just if what Donald Trump has already done so far is allowed to remain in place after the first of the year, as he has promised will happen if he's elected president. Literally the end of Social Security. Now, I realize there are some of you watching or listening who are going, well, I'm 28 years old, or I'm 41 years old, or I'm 19 years old. Why do I give a rat's ass about Social Security? Well, here's why. Because even if you're 10 years old, you have, through Social Security, a multi-million-dollar insurance policy that literally no company on earth would otherwise sell you. And that's called Social Security Disability. That's the fund that will vanish in the middle of next year if Donald Trump's current executive order continues to be the law of the land after the first of the year, or after the 20th of the year. How does that work? You say, well, I'm a young person. I didn't realize I had an insurance policy. Here's how it works. If you get in a car accident, skydiving accident, I broke my back jumping out of an airplane. Thank God I didn't, it wasn't a major, it was actually a compression fracture. So, broke your back sounds a little harsh, but I damaged a bone in my back jumping out of an airplane. Had it gone another quarter inch or so, I'd probably be paralyzed. If I was paralyzed, and I was 20 years old when that happened, I had finally gotten Louise and my mother to come watch me jump out of an airplane. It was my third jump. And they watched me go splat on the runway. It was a dirt runway out in Mason, Michigan. And the ambulance had to come out and scrape me off the runway. I could not move. I thought I was paralyzed. I think it was mostly I had the wind knocked out of me, and I crushed that vertebrae. But they took me to the hospital. I wore a brace for 6 months. It was rough. And had I been paralyzed at the age of 20, Social Security would have paid for my medical services, my rent, my food, and would have paid to have somebody come visit me a couple days a week and make sure that I was okay, to turn me over or wash me or change my bedpan or whatever it may be. That's the insurance policy, the disability insurance policy that you have, regardless of how old you are. There are children receiving funds under this policy. If you are a young couple and you're thinking, we're going to have a child, we're good, everything's fine. And we're going to make sure our kid never has an accident. But if your kid is born with a serious birth defect, I had a cousin who had a child born with a neural tube disorder, you know, where the opening, it was called spina bifida, the opening of the spinal cord was actually exposed. It was external to the body, so the child was largely largely unable to move and profoundly retarded for her entire life. She died in her 20s, as so often happens with these. Every day of her life, she was covered with Social Security. This is one of this is seriously one of Franklin Roosevelt's great victories with Social Security, and it's a program that Republicans have fought against. They called it communism in 1935 when it was put into law. They have called it up until the 1950s. They regularly called it communism. Nowadays they call it socialism. They think that word is worse. And people aren't really afraid of communism anymore. The communists are gone. Even Cuba's not communist anymore. You got free enterprise and small private businesses there. But the Republicans hate Social Security, and they hate it for a very simple reason. It's the same reason that they hate, our publicly funded fire departments. It's the same reason they hate our publicly funded roads. It's the same reason that Republicans hate even the idea that communities could have their own broadband service like Chattanooga, Tennessee does, twice as fast as pretty much anywhere else in the country for half the cost. They hate the idea that communities could be providing electricity or water or septic. These things, hey, if somebody can make a buck, it's got to be a billionaire. Government shouldn't be providing these things, and they hate Social Security for the same reason. They think that that the retirement part of Social Security should be the banks, and that multi-million-dollar insurance policy that you have through Social Security or your child has, that should be something that you should have to go out into the public marketplace and purchase. And good luck buying a policy that will cover a 20-year-old for the rest of their lives when they're paralyzed for any kind of reasonable price. It pretty much doesn't exist in this country. And that's what Donald Trump and the Republicans are trying, it's not just a side effect of what they're doing. It's the main reason they're doing it. They are trying to destroy this. And thank God Joe Biden called it out just a few hours ago. Thank God.